One of the crazier and more unbelievable stories from my time spent in retail is the tale of the garbage thief. Basically, one year we had an inventory conducted at the store after a manager change. The professor wound up getting promoted and moving away, and the misplaced one came in and was installed as the new store manager. In retail, not only do you have annual or sometimes biannual inventories, but whenever there's a change in store manager, there's an inventory as well. It's just something that has to be done. It's basically company policy no matter where you work. And when the results came back from this inventory, they weren't only bad, but they were pretty disastrous. The managers came together and knew something was up and something had to be going on. When you measure shrink in a store, which is the amount of product and money you lose essentially, it comes down to being broke down into external theft, internal theft, and paperwork error. And when we were looking at the results from this inventory, we knew some of it was internal. And the store had a lot of video cameras installed in it because it was a pretty big store. And after carefully reviewing that for a long time and connecting a lot of dots, basically the associate who was stealing was caught. It was a young associate who was working there for a while and usually liked taking out the garbage. When he would take out the garbage and take the garbage out from the sales floor, there were specific bins they were in, and he would put boxes inside them and basically as a setup, and then when he was ready to actually do the garbage, would just push them into the garbage and take them to the back. And when a manager opened the back doors for him, he would take them outside. Obviously everyone thought he was throwing out the garbage, but there was a loading dock nearby, and he would be on his cell phone ready to tell his friends or whoever to pick them up or load them into a car or do something with them. I remember one night I was working with another manager, the false prophet actually, and I was on the sales floor. She was going into the back, and she caught this associate on his cell phone when he was supposed to be watching the back of the store. And also when you work in retail, normally, no matter what position you are, associate or manager, you're assigned a certain area of the store to look after. And she said to him, "Oh my God, what are you doing? You're supposed to be watching the back of the store." Shortly after, he went to the sales floor and she called me to the back and was telling me what had just transpired. And I'm like, oh my God, it's him. He basically thought he had a slick operation running for a while, and he would prepare the boxes in the garbage, take them to the back, go on his cell phone, and probably tell him, you know, the timing of everything, who was working, and all the details to make sure everything ran smoothly. About 2 months after the inventory was conducted, the district manager was called in to review all the videotapes, which served as ample evidence for his crimes. And I remember working that day, and I went home early, and when I went home I took a nap because I was exhausted, and when I woke up from the nap I had tons of missed calls, texts, and voicemails. One of them was from the groupie, and she said, oh my God, he was just arrested. And he wound up being arrested that day and taken out of the store and unfortunately in a way paraded in front of people as a sign that if you do this, you'll wind up like him. A lot of people tend to do that to make sure they serve as an example. And unfortunately, a lot of people think they can get away with things and commit crimes such as these, and you never think about what you may deal with in retail, and this is certainly one of them. Not only regular shoplifters, but someone who carries something like this out for a long time. And he thought it was all fun and games until he wound up arrested. And it was sad and unfortunate, but, you know, it had to be done because there is clearly a difference between right and wrong, and he was engaged in a lot of wrong, and it's just another crazy tale from my time spent in retail.